Alright, today is 9th of June, and it's been almost 3 months since I took these DCXL Venus flytraps out of dormancy, about 12 weeks. And what I'm finding is now they're actually finally starting to make bigger and bigger traps. A lot of them got to barely over about 1 inch or so for a while now, like even the initial traps. But it seems like right now they're making shorter, which is kind of weird. I expect them to keep on getting longer and longer, but some of these bigger ones, the more mature ones, they're actually starting to make the shorter winter type traps. And they're actually quite, they're getting bigger and bigger than the previous traps, as you can tell. So it's a pleasant surprise for me, especially on this one. This one was pretty big, but as you can see right here, the new trap's even bigger. Even this one. This actually has 2 growth points on it, so I'll probably have to separate them eventually, but it seems like once the roots get set and they develop more roots, the traps can get pretty big for DCXL. It's supposed to be able to get up to around 2 inches or so, but let's see how they're doing right now. It's pretty hard to do this. Okay. This is pretty tough to measure. I need a smaller ruler, but yeah, these guys are definitely getting over 1 inch, close to 1 1.25 inches. But I have no idea why they're reverting back to the winter type traps. Because in Hawaii right now, it's in the mid 80s, which is pretty hot. And I'm finding it hasn't really made too many summer traps. Like, I've gotten it from this plant, this plant, this plant, and this plant. This one actually lost its growth point, so it doesn't really have too much new growth right now. But as I see here, this is also reverting back to dormant traps. We're getting about 14 hours of sun, so I don't really see why. But it looks like when they're really small, or not even that small, when they're usually, let's say, 2 inches in diameter or less, it doesn't look like they even make summer traps, at least from what I've seen here. My theory is maybe it's too hot and the sun's really intense and it's just overwhelming, so that's why they're producing these short traps. But if anyone knows why, please let me know. But yeah, here's all of them. And also I have my ST Chronos, which is actually just started to make traps a week ago and actually start feeding them. This one, I took its growth point off, and it's growing pretty well. This was just one plant that I got. Like, this ST Chronos was nearly 3 months ago, and I got this about 6 weeks ago, like about a month and a half ago, and it was just one plant with 1 growth point. It was pretty massive rhizome. And as you can see, with all my divisions, this was like a bottom part of the rhizome. It's producing a nice plant. Looks like it has 6 visible traps right here. This one has like 2 visible traps. This one's not doing so well, but this is actually my best single leaf cutting. And yeah, I actually have a bunch of nepenthes maximas in this pot too. I just planted the seeds. This is actually my best ST Chronos plant. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 visible traps. And here's another one. And let's see what we got on this leaf cutting. And it's got some bumps on here. Actually, it has 2 strikes. So, yeah, we'll see what it does. Just gotta keep it moist. That's the thing about doing leaf pulling, is you gotta make sure you keep it moist, because that's what's gonna get you the strikes, because you want to keep this part with as much green as possible, and as long as you're able to keep them alive, they're eventually gonna start striking and making new plants. So yeah, just gotta keep it in there tight, and hopefully in another month or so it'll turn out like this. And another thing I've actually gotten is these guys. I grow broccoli and cauliflower and that type of stuff, so I have plenty of these little worms. Yeah, I got some already turned into cocoons. And these guys, they'll lay eggs, and these eggs will hatch within like a few hours. And within like a day or two, they're already mature, so I have a pretty good supply of them. I don't really mind them eating my plants, my garden plants, as long as I can take them and feed them to my traps. And that's exactly what I'm about to do right now. And I think these guys got plenty of protein. So I'll just take it. Yeah, right. I think this is a good candidate. All I do is put it in there, move it around, and I try to get the tweezers out while leaving the caterpillar in there. And then I'll just squeeze it a little bit, making sure it doesn't get out. Alright, this is another big one. There we go. It can be tricky sometimes. But yeah, the objective is to get them inside the trap and have them be able to seal. I'm gonna have to get a little stick and push this guy in. But yeah, sometimes they can be tricky. Well, that one went pretty easily. Reason why I like using these caterpillars, or like moth caterpillars, is because they're really easy to digest. For example, I put one of these guys in like about 10 days ago, and it's already digested. Sometimes takes less than a week. Let's see. Try to see if I can force this guy in here. There we go. This one's not even completely open yet, but it's already got its first meal. You know, I broke it a little bit, but it's not a problem. Now I just got these tiny ones, and I can only feed them to these little traps, but I'll probably do it off camera because it's a little bit tedious and requires two hands. But yeah, I try to feed each of these traps 1 or 2 meals every single week. And after 3 months, for example, this guy was literally only about as big as this guy when it was coming out of dormancy. So these guys grow pretty quick, and I'm thinking by the end of the season, this entire pot is going to be filled out and tight. I also have these white pitcher plants in here, and gonna have to transplant them into a different pot. But yeah, here's all my traps. Alright.